Joining us tonight, Congressman Louie Gohmert, Congressman Andy Biggs, both of whom are members of the House Judiciary Committee and the House Freedom Caucus. Gentlemen, good to have you with us. We witnessed the most extraordinary Senate Judiciary hearing since certainly that of Clarence Thomas in 1991. And I have to say that unlike those moments, senators stood up for the president's nominee. Lindsey Graham, and Congressman Gohmert, I'm going to start with you, if I may. Senator Graham, I'm almost speakless because I am not a person who is easily impressed by rhetoric. This man impressed. He, I suspect, reminded the Republican members of the U.S. Senate of their consciences.
Yeah. Lindsey and I have had a lot of disagreements. But I'm telling you what, Lindsey reached down into his soul, and he was righteous, and he was right, and he was defensive of the process. And Louie, I was having dinner, Dana Rohrabacher and I had a very late dinner with the former president of the Czech Republic, and he said he had seen some of the hearings and things that were going on here. He said, we always looked to America as that light on the hill. We didn't always agree, but we knew you were trying to do what was right and be fair. And we're not seeing the light so much, but I'm telling you, Lindsey got some of that light lighting him up today. Yeah, and he was
the
righteous.
Idea that I'm sorry, Congressman.
Go ahead.
This business that they started with. Well, first of all, it's not all light in the Senate Judiciary Committee.
No, it wasn't.
After watching this, I can't even imagine what Senator Chuck Grassley was thinking about when he had this woman doing 5-minute intervals and for all the world came out much harsher in her line of questioning, Congressman Biggs, than she did when interviewing Dr. Christine Ford. It was a remarkable thing. Finally, they changed that. But this after a delay, as Judge Kavanaugh said, of 10 days from the moment he asked to accelerate the hearing. It was an awful spectacle of managing that committee.
Well, I was bewildered. I mean, I don't know how anybody who's had trial experience can say you're going to get 5 minutes to ask some questions, try to go down a train of thought, and then lose it after another 5 minutes to somebody else. That the whole setup was meant for failure, quite frankly, on the part of the poor Republican questioner. She couldn't. How do you get any train of thought? And so I was shocked that that was the process that they decided to undertake. It didn't make sense to me, but it goes to this whole process, which has been disgraceful. I mean, what the Democrats did. I mean, Lindsey Graham brought it out perfectly when he said, Dianne Feinstein had this for 20 days. You're sitting there, Judge Kavanaugh, she's interviewing you, and guess what? She's setting you up at the same time. This woman, Dr. Ford, had a lawyer that was recommended by Senator Feinstein, and you look at the whole thing, and I mean, when I see Spartacus asking the type of questions he's asking on that committee, I am outraged that they went after Judge Kavanaugh without any degree of respect or decorum. This was designed to delay and to destroy this man's character and his name. And actually, Lindsey Graham was right. They wanted to. I've said this before. This is a war. They view this as a war. We view this as a process.
Well,
and that's where we got beat.
If there's any confusion in your conference about what you have done by permitting Paul Ryan to remain as Speaker, what you have done in the Senate by permitting Chuck Grassley to manage that like a garden, I don't know, a society, it is, I would hope, been a revelatory day. The terrible thing, it seems to me, Congressman Gohmert, in all of this is the family of Judge Kavanaugh, along with the judge himself, just dragged through the mud with extraordinary accusations. Dr. Ford, she was entirely credible, as Judge Kavanaugh himself said. She has gone through immense pain, but it's not an experience that he was in any way associated with.
Well, we may disagree a little bit on the immensely credible. You can't talk.
Let me finish, though, if I may.
All right. Okay.
And the fact that the Dems will not, kept asking for an FBI investigation when the only 4 people who've been named by Dr. Ford have refuted her story as to time, to place, to event. They say that they have no knowledge of either Judge Kavanaugh or in being in proximity to her or to that event, which none of them could say ever happened. They know nothing about it. Now, Judge.
Well, yeah, and I'm sorry that I was jumping in, but
no, Your Honor, I'm going straight back to who you are.
Well, look, there were so many inconsistencies in her story. Yes, she presented it credibly, just as anybody in her situation would. After she had been coached repeatedly, prepared as a witness, they asked for all these extra days so that they could keep rehearsing and get her ready. And so she was, and she rehearsed as well as she rehearsed, she presented. But there were still these incredible discrepancies. How you can say it had haunted you and you will never forget the details, and in one sentence and the other sentence say, well, you don't remember the details, but the details will remain with you forever. And she didn't even call the name when she first told the shrink, and then she said shrink said she said 4 people, and then she said no, 2, and then in her testimony is 4. But the bottom line is, I hope that Republicans will learn a lesson, and it wasn't a trial, it was a charade. But Lou, all the trials that I had as a felony judge, as a litigator, not once did I ever hear both sides rest. We finished oral argument, and I said, okay, now we're going to come back in a couple of weeks and vote then. Right. Now, when you finish the evidence, it's time to vote. Don't allow these kind of charades to go in and this intermittent garbage that's developed here. You shut it down. You have a vote at the time after evidence is presented.
Judge Kavanaugh, Congressman Biggs, does he win the support of all of the Republicans and perhaps a few Democrats? What is your outlook on how that vote will go?
Well, if there's fairness, then he will win all the Republicans and a few Democrats. But I don't think that I think Graham again was right. This isn't the town of fairness. I think he wins the nomination. I think that the fact that some of the discrepancies were big enough with the witnesses that you allow some of the Republicans who are women to vote for Judge Kavanaugh, and I hope he gets confirmed. I mean, this has been a travesty from the beginning. He was mistreated, his family, and you could see that on his face and the pain in his parents.
Well, think what the Democrats did.
Yeah.
To Dr. Ford. I mean, there is no question that the confidentiality that she herself reaffirmed, she absolutely insisted upon, was important to her. It was a commitment from the Democrats on that committee, and they violated it. They betrayed that confidentiality and acted not to protect her or to address injury at some point in her life, but rather to exploit her. That's what they tried today. And because of this great nominee, the president chose extremely well. They will tonight, without question, be extraordinarily frustrated. Congressman
Gohmert, let's be fair to Feinstein. She said it wasn't her staff that leaked leaked the stuff, but then again, she didn't know she had a Chinese spy on her staff.
I know that fairness is the order of the day on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and I know it's always compelling on the House Judiciary Committee. So I'll permit that fair and balanced remark, Congressman. Thanks so much, Congressman Gohmert, Congressman Biggs. Thank you both.
Thanks, Lou.